Israel is suffering from one of the biggest waves of terror attacks in years. 3 major attacks in 8 days left 11 Israelis dead, and authorities are predicting more attacks during the Muslim month of Ramadan. A Palestinian gunman on a motorcycle opened fire in the crowded central city of Bnei Brak, killing 5 Israelis, including an Arab policeman. Israeli police said they managed to shoot the terrorists and prevent more deaths. It was the second mass shooting in days. ISIS claimed responsibility for an attack in the city of Hadera, where 2 Palestinian Arabs killed 2 and wounded 4. Earlier, an ISIS supporter killed 4 in a stabbing spree in the southern city of Beer Șeba that left 4 dead. In the past week, thousands of Israelis gathered in funerals around the country. Hundreds mourned a 19-year-old border police woman killed in one attack, and Israel's education minister lamented the victims of another.
4 human beings who went out on their daily routine were brutally murdered in a murder campaign of a bloodthirsty murderer, only for the reason of them being Jewish.
To address the wave of violence, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett called an emergency meeting of top security officials, and in a nationwide speech, he told Israelis that Israel would prevail over terror.
We face a challenging period. We have experience in dealing with terrorism from the very beginning of Zionism. They did not break us then, and they will not break us now.
Hamas praised the shooting as a heroic operation, and scenes on Twitter showed some in Gaza passing out candy to celebrate the killings. Hezbollah supporters in Lebanon danced in the streets and waved flags. The terror attacks come ahead of the Muslim month of Ramadan, when there is often a rise in terrorism.
Millions of Muslims actually enjoy the holiday peacefully. But here in Israel, unfortunately, we have radical forces who take advantage of this important religious holiday to incite against Jews and to promote violence.
A new Palestinian study revealed sobering findings about the future of Israeli-Palestinian relations. Nearly half of Palestinians polled said the most effective way to build an independent state was armed struggle. Only 25% chose negotiations. In a major development, the foreign ministers of 4 Arab countries joined U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken for an historic conference in Israel. The meeting focused on the development of the Abraham Accords and the mutual threat of Iran. The foreign ministers of Bahrain, the UAE, Morocco, and Egypt flew into Israel for what's called the Negev Summit. The meeting took place at the former home of David Ben-Gurion, the father of modern Israel.
The fact that they're coming here to be with us, they're recognizing that Israel is not just here, but Israel is a regional power, and is an allied regional power. We're an essential ally for these Arab states. It's quite an extraordinary moment.
Former Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Michael Oren, sees the gathering as history in the making, but it also provides an opportunity for Arab nations to join with Israel in expressing to the U.S. their opposition to the Iranian nuclear deal. An agreement endorsed by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken here in Jerusalem.
The United States believes that a return to full implementation of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action is the best way to put Iran's nuclear program back in the box that it was in, but has escaped from since the United States withdrew from that agreement.
Israel's Foreign Minister Yair Lapid emphasized Israel will do what it takes to stop Iran.
From our point of view, the Iranian threat is not theoretical. The Iranians want to destroy Israel. They will not succeed. We will not let them.
Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, who tested positive for COVID after his meeting with Blinken, raised a major concern about the Iranian nuclear deal.
We're concerned about the intention to delist the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps. Their proxy, the Houthis, just this weekend carried out a horrific attack on Saudi Arabia. I hope the United States will hear the concerned voices from the region, Israel's and others, on this very important issue.
Oren says the nuclear deal in 2022 will be worse than the original 2015 agreement.
The fact of the matter is the Iranians managed to get pretty much everything they want. But they'll get a nuclear program that will enable them to retain their nuclear infrastructure, to develop intercontinental ballistic delivery systems. It will probably say nothing about the warheads. Basically, this will buy some time, maybe at most 4 years, on one part of the Iranian nuclear program, which is the enrichment program. And after those 4 years, Iran will be in the position to enrich enough uranium for hundreds of bombs. I am certain that this deal will put Israel and the Middle East on the path to a regional conflict.
Oren and others point out the deal will also give billions of dollars in sanctions relief to Iran that could spread its terror activities throughout the region. How Israel and these Arab nations at the Negev summit plan to confront Iran may well determine the future of the Middle East.
Alpha.